So today we're going to talk about traffic jam that has returned into our life because the new year has begun.
You nothing better to talk about. You're listening to
Jom Sembang, Malaysia. Okay, so this traffic jam, right? Because I've been working from home for the past more than 10 years, right? So traffic jam usually does not influence me, but sometimes after the end of the year, the beginning of a new year, I forget, the traffic gets back to normal. Like you kind of get used
last
to
week lah.
Correct, you kind of get used to the whole holiday thing, right? It's like, I can get there in 15-20 minutes, and then sekali, why today, what hour? Oh yeah, everyone's back to work.
Okay, the thing is, I hardly got the right estimate anyway lah. So I always underestimate the traffic.
Okay lah. So if for someone who work from home like me, I kind of know that if I need to make appointments, I'll make appointments at 10:30, not even 10 o'clock, because 10 o'clock means I need to leave the house at 9 and join the traffic already. Chances of me leaving the house, let's say after 10, would take me half an hour to somewhere, instead of if I leave 9:30, it would take me 1 hour.
Okay.
There's a big difference. Or what time you leave the house, even 5 minutes makes a whole difference on the road.
Correct. I think that's why we use Waze now, right? You check the I don't know. Do you do that? I'm okay, if I have to arrive at a later time, then you see the traffic flow. It's now it takes less time. But okay, I'm more optimistic than you. I will organize meetings at 10 lah, earliest. Also, it depends where I'm from, because I think for me, if I leave the house at 9, it's still okay.
Okay.
Am I right? Because anything later
I need to
than
leave the house at 10. Otherwise, it's an hour to anywhere.
So it depends where you live also lah.
Okay lah. I don't live in some ulu place or in the middle of some high junction place lah. It's just that, I think traffic jam in the morning peak hours are 7 to 10. Well, if school starts, it's definitely 7, because everyone's trying to send their kids to school before 7:15 or something like that, and then whatever. So that's also the thing, you see. Traffic jam is determined by a few factors. Number one, whether it's a school holiday or not a school holiday.
Okay.
Because that also means that either people leave the house at 8 o'clock or leave the house at just before 7.
Okay, I know. The other one is public holiday.
Public holiday, which I always forget. I just go out and suddenly what's the worst thing, public holiday? It's not a national public holiday that is mengganggu, disturbs, right? It's today's Selangor holiday, I didn't know. Why is everybody stuck here?
Yes.
Or hello, why everybody stuck there? Today is KL Federal Day. I'm
So the entire Kuala Lumpur is in PJ.
Yeah, something like that. So I find Malaysia traffic jam, you can say predictable, but I think after the pandemic, it's even not predictable, because you have some people working from home, some people don't work from home, some people working at cafes. So the traffic is horrendously unpredictable.
So okay, what's the word? Bugs me lah. Is that people still want to get to a certain place by 9 o'clock when actually they don't have to. For example, when people organize meetings at 9 o'clock. It's not a work meeting. If it's a work meeting, I understand, because you're supposed to clock in by 9.
Correct.
But this is voluntary organisation. Kenapa nak adakan meeting jam 9? I mean, you're expecting all the people who come in to sit in that jam, waste 2 hours. Okay, maybe not 2 hours, 1 hour. For you, it's 2 hours literally because of where you stay. To get to your meeting, isn't it enough that I already blocked that time for the meeting for you? You want me to sit in the jam some more?
Maybe people got nothing to do lah. But just now you said, right, you will actually press Waze before you go out if it's a high traffic time, right? I am this one person who if I really know the way, why must I go and press this Waze thing lah?
Okay, wait. I actually press if I have to. Let's say I have to get to somewhere, or I'm the one that's determining the time. I actually think like that one. It's okay, why waste time on the road? Let's find the most optimum time lah to get to a certain place. So the second thing that always happens to me every week is I send my mom to help volunteer at this cafe.
Okay.
And the lady boss said 9:30. 9:30 will be a good time to start. But my mother gairah kan, excited kan. She's I want to get there before 9. And I'm like, why?
Happy joining the traffic jam, Ju.
Why? So for the longest time, I would sit in the car and I would be upset because it's this is ridiculous. And I would be thinking, wow, if I just left the house another 20 minutes later, we would have got there a lot sooner. So actually, right, this route to that place, the difference might be 10-20 minutes lah, in terms
Okay.
of how whether I leave. So, it's like it could take 20 minutes or it could take 40 minutes, which is not life and death lah. Okay lah, 20 minutes I leave earlier. But I think, sometimes instead of fighting the system, I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover, not a fighter. I have kind of come to terms with it. So I'm like, okay lah, 8:15 leave the house, see lah what time we reach there, and it's like, at least I don't have to stress about it. Rather than stress about the jam, stress inside the jam, stress the night before. It's like,
Wow, your life suddenly sounds very stressful because of traffic jam.
Yeah, just because, why do we have to get there at 9? It's like, why let that spoil my entire morning and the night before lah? So just, never mind lah, sit longer lah, Maybe listen to more music lah. Or, I don't know, do stuff that I can do lah in the car.
I suppose so. Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, I'll share with you what I do to avoid traffic jam. Today's episode is brought to you by Jason Bakes. Jason is an adult with special needs and he's currently baking cookies to be sold from the comfort of his home. His cookies has 3 flavors, original, chocolate and the latest coffee. Sedap kan Ju? I've given you a packet before. What? Yeah. So right, this Chinese New Year, we are having some special package with him. So if you order your cookies before Chinese New Year, let's say 5 days before, we can deliver it if you are living in Kuchai Lama, Seri Petaling, Bukit Jalil, Puchong. That would be best lah for Jason lah. Alright. So to find out more, just search for Jason Bakes on your social media.
Order now.
Okay, horn. This is like let me think, 1, 2, 3. Okay lah, I just share lah. Later we count how many of these weird things that I do just to avoid traffic jam.
Okay.
Okay, the first thing that I like to do is like, if by hook and by crook someone say you must meet me at 10 a.m. Let's say somewhere in maybe 20 km away, PJ, because I stay in KL. And so what I will do is like, okay, I will leave my house before 7. I will reach the location maybe 1.5 hours earlier so that I don't have to sit at the traffic for like 2 hours. I just sit in the traffic for 30 minutes, get a parking, sit down, chill, read a book, have coffee, wait for people. That is one way that I kind of do it lah.
Okay, but when you say it, it sounds so chill and so nice. And because, right, okay, sometimes when we have to get to meet at a certain place and then you say, oh, in that case I have to leave before 7 or then I'll be like cringe gila, like I feel like super guilty, like oh my gosh. And then I imagine, oh, poor Gina, I have to wake up early and then like terperuk at some roadside and like just wait for you to come like that. Like, I don't know, it always makes me feel bad. But the way you say it, it actually sounds like quite a chill,
I think
relaxed.
it's important to take note that when a person decides to leave early or whatever, it's not entirely the other person's fault lah. It's a decision, right? We all agree to arrive at 9. If you want to arrive early, then that's your business lah. If you have to wake up early it's your business lah. But as long as you're not late, I don't think it should be an issue for anyone. It shouldn't be an issue for anyone at all.
Okay lah, so I won't feel bad anymore lah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel bad. And then I only feel bad if, for example, if I plan to leave early and then I tak jadilah tertidur or something. Then I'll be like super crazy rushing again lah.
Right. Okay lah. Therein lies the answer of how Gina can read so many books. I'm always wondering, right, how come she can read? Finish another book. I'm like just trying to catch up.
Waiting is the best way to
so
just
now,
catch
right,
up.
I have
reading.
a book in my car, which I haven't really quite touched. I think I read like 1 page.
Actually, what kind of book you put in the car is very important.
Really?
Yeah, it cannot be like a fiction or something. Then you want to follow up the story, but you don't know when the next time you spend time in the car waiting and reading, you see. So for me, I always pick books that is maybe non-fiction, that is like you read and then 2 pages you need to think and digest one. So that whenever you stop and then you pick it up, it's not like you need to remember where the princess was from.
Oh.
So the kind of book that you read in the car,
thinking ones.
yeah, has to be non-fiction, not continuing from somewhere lah. Because I wouldn't remember where I left off is one thing if the gap between waiting is too long.
Okay. Tip number 1: how to cope with traffic jams, and on the side, you also manage to finish reading books.
Correct. So I go early is one of the way I do it. Second thing, if I really have to do with this traffic jam thing, is I will, for example, pick up a friend. So the idea is, I think I don't have time to really catch up with some friends. So I always find it like, hey, you're going, then I'm going, but we're going so-called almost same direction, not quite. Then why don't I just tapao you, and then we can sit in the car and talk while we need to go for some meeting, because then I feel that it's better use of time.
Carpool lah too. Instead of two people alone inside their own cars, stuck in the jam, at least you're together and you can catch up, chit-chat, talk about stuff.
So that is something that I also intentionally do lah. I mean, I don't mind detour like maybe 10 minutes to pick up someone and then go back on the track I'm supposed to go.
Okay.
If it means that I can spend time with that person, because time is quite precious now.
Okay, wow, her tip number 2 can save the environment also. Not bad.
Yeah, and then you get to save parking lah. I mean, parking of course depending on your friends lah. Some friends they're very particular, okay lah, Gina, you drive, I pay parking. Okay, what? Then I save some money there, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's one of the things that I'll do lah.
Buy one get one free. Okay, got
something like
tip?
that. Actually, what about you lah? What do you do in traffic jam?
Okay, one thing I found myself doing in the last few months is I've had to do a lot of reviews, as in listening to mixes. So if you're not in the music line, right, what happens is after you've recorded a song or an album, there's post-production, right? So like movies, for videos, you have to watch the video, but for audio, you don't really have to. Like you can listen to it, right? So what I do is, it just happened that this last project I did, it was a whole EP and it all continuous play, right? So it goes up to 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And if I had to listen to it in the office or wherever I was, like, just listening, it's like one time listen is already half an hour. So I figured, hey, if I can just load it on my phone, then when I'm stuck in the jam, I can listen to it and it's like good use of time lah, and especially if I'm alone lah, then there is no disturbances. You know what I mean?
You actually work when you're in a traffic jam.
No, it's very good because, okay, imagine, right, if you're at home and you're not alone at home, because working from home, right, obviously, there'll be people knocking on your door, hey, lunch is what time, or hey, this one, or something lah, or some distraction, or the radio goes on, and then you cannot focus on it. But if you're alone in the car, it's like, wow, isolation, isolation booth.
It's called the workaholic traffic jam.
That is true. So yeah, I found that. And then I found that, alamak, if it didn't load properly, I actually got upset. Like, wasted this opportunity. Now I have to go and sit in my office and spend that half an hour listening to it.
Yeah, but then, how do you like take notes or whatever? Like, how does it work?
That one cannot lah. Unless I just mentally know, okay, 4 things in this song, the first verse, and then I just go back and find those spots lah.
So it's like a quick review before you go back and comb a thorough review.
Something like that, like overview kind of thing lah. The bad thing is you can't sit down and write the notes lah. But at least I heard the whole thing. Then instead of you write, point 1, and actually it's like the whole thing has that problem.
True.
Yeah.
I think it's quite interesting. The other thing that I'm always thinking lah, or rather I'm very curious about is, why Malaysia got so many traffic jam? It's not like we have narrow roads. Some of our roads have like what? On the one side is one direction is 5 lanes. The other direction is the other 5 lanes. Like, why lah we have traffic jam?
I blame it on the bottlenecks.
Oh yeah, the bottlenecks. The 5 lane become 2 lane.
Tiba-tiba
and then suddenly become 4 lane. That's true lah. Only Malaysia je banyak-banyak gitu, right?
You drive. The lane finished already. Oh, okay. That's one. The other one is, okay, my favorite one is at the toll. I don't know whether it's because it's a jam, but I think it does. You reach the toll and you can't quite see which lane you're supposed to be in until very late. And then everybody's like, crisscross, trying to get to the correct lane to, for your toll, whether you're RFID ke, touch and go ke, apalah.
But I can never understand the toll house thing. How is it from 3 lane and then you break everybody to a 12 lane to pay money and then put them back to 3 lane? What's the rationale? Cause more traffic jam, right?
I don't know if
bottlenecks.
There's a rationale.
But I think the other thing that is I realized when I was driving is traffic jam is caused by, what you call that? Kepochis.
Oh, the one that people look the other side and
yeah, the accident happened on the other side of the road and then we are like, oh, why traffic jam? Why traffic jam? And then when our turn passed by that area, then we actually slow down to, what is there? And then pass by and contribute to the entire more traffic jam.
Yeah, because we're very curious people. We want to know what happened to the neighbor across the road.
Yeah, man. So there's one thing, another thing that I find very interesting about traffic jam. Sometimes you drive highway, let's say north-south highway lah, okay? There is totally like no jam for half an hour, and then you pass a stretch, and then suddenly there's a jam for another like half an hour. But once you pass the stretch, in front no accident, nothing, and then straight. And then like, for the longest time, there was one time I was stuck there for like, I don't know, 4 hours kind of trip instead of 2 hours, and I was like, what is this? I think it's nice to know that there's an accident, there's a jam, so there's a what you call that, reason.
Correct.
Right?
This one there's no reason, right?
Yeah, so I got a bit like and then the whole trip I was driving back, I was thinking like, why so weird?
I know why.
So weird?
I know why. You know, sometimes, right? Okay, that could have been a reason, like a backlog or whatever. Not backlog, what bottleneck. And then you're like so into the jam already. You're like so used to driving at 40.
Okay.
You drive. And then you don't realize when the thing is free, you know. So you're still driving at 40 until a while, then you go, oh, I can step on it.
Oh,
I think so. That's my theory. I have a lot of theories, by the way. You know, people ask me why. Maybe this. So never ask Juwita why, okay? Because she can come up with
my theory after
reasons.
spending so much time on the highway when I was traveling so much, right, is the slow stretch is when the lorries all need to go up some slope.
Oh, okay, yes.
So they was like, oh, very slow, right? Then the car behind, you're so slow, right? Then they cut to the right, and then they try to go up, then they also slow. So the one that try to cut each other is also realize they are not any faster.
Right.
So together they slow up, then behind everybody also slow, so they got traffic jam lor. Okay? And then when the slope start to go down, suddenly you're like, oh,
Right.
no jam! So that's why you have stretches of traffic jam and no traffic jam on highways, but then there's no accident one. I tell you, that is the nature of the route.
Okay, so that's why sometimes during festive season, they says, okay, heavy vehicles are not allowed to travel at certain times. Maybe that's a reason lah. So I suppose they are trying. Try harder, please.
Yeah, I suppose so lah, because you have 4 lane there, a lorry, maybe smaller lorry, and then older car, and then super normal car. 4 lanes already lor, traffic jam.
Yeah, but you know what? Actually, we've been wondering about this traffic jam thingy for a long time, but I think let's just think about what we can do lah to not contribute to the traffic jam.
Like, for example, you begin with the episode they're saying that, hey, don't set meeting at some early weird time.
Yes, try not to contribute your car when there's a peak period. What else? We were saying don't go and cari nombor if there's an accident.
Correct. Don't look at people, or like, just focus on your road and just get there. I think the other thing to do is like, when there's a traffic jam, you really have to focus. You kind of get distracted, like waiting, right? And then sometimes you leave a gap that is like 3 feet.
Yes.
Or something like, but hello, that 3 feet, if everybody move 3 feet, then it's actually you can squeeze one more car behind or something like that. So for me, right, I get irritated when drivers during traffic jam do not focus one. Like, slow down lah, leave some half gap lah. Or maybe, right, they see that, hey, I don't want to step my brakes, so I just float there. And then you are like, walao eh.
I call them road hoggers lah. So actually there's not much cars in front of them, but they're just hogging, they're just going slowly, and actually they're causing a jam behind there.
Yeah, because of their flow.
Yeah, people don't know whether to like, okay, go on the next lane, change the lane, or they just think that it's just slow, but the hell it's just one car deciding to, okay, I'm going to take my time because I don't know, I'm early or whatever. Yeah.
Maybe. So
please focus. Thank you.
Focus. I think focus is an important thing. So yeah, what are some other ways that you guys out there make your traffic jam time productive? I think we would be very interested to know lah, cause sama-sama Malaysian were always traffic jam. Klang Valley lah traffic jam, tapi I heard, right, Kota Kinabalu sono traffic jam.
Mana-mana pun ada. Hari tu
Penang
Kuching
pun ada, Ipoh ada,
Melaka pun ada.
Okay, so share some of your tips with us of what we can do during the traffic
We'd love
jam.
to hear from you.
Yeah, until the next episode, don't ask me what we're talking about. I still thinking lah. Jom Sembang Malaysia is hosted by 2 Malaysian friends who are passionate about Malaysian stuff.
Stay tuned every week for a brand new Sembang session with Juwita Suito and Gina Yap Layong.